Today I'm making a special treat for the gourmet group. It is baklava. Where I grew up in Turkey, baklava was served on special occasions. For example, if I got good grades in school for a whole month, my mother would give me some baklava. When I was a young girl growing up in Turkey, I can remember the women of my family getting together to make this phyllo dough. All the women would sit around a low table. It had a wood top about 3 feet across. It was round and it was good for rolling dough. And the dough is made of flour, water, and it is paper thin, even though it's made by hand. It takes a lot of practice to get it that way. It is a difficult process, but you get better with practice and a lot of olive oil. Now we can buy yufka in stores, whether it's a supermarket or one of the ethnic food stores in town. I got this from Europa, which is on Peach and 24th intersection, and it's about a pound. It's known as yufka in Turkish, and it originated in Central Asia and Anatolia. And the layering of paper-thin pieces of dough into different dishes is a tradition that came out of Central Asia. In fact, the word baklava means a bundle or stack of layers. This layering of bread became part of the repertoire of Turkey, both for desserts and for other main dishes. Let me go over the ingredients first. Besides yufka or the phyllo sheets, we will need some nuts, and the traditional versions are walnuts or pistachios. And as you can see, they've been ground, and you can make them as fine as you like or as coarse as you like. There's no magic formula. And melted butter. The butter has to be clarified butter, which is one of the tricks that not many people know. To clarify butter, all you have to do is bring it to a hot state, and when it starts showing the milk solids, the white stuff, skim that off the top. Or you can purchase clarified butter in a jar, which is also sold in both the supermarkets and some ethnic stores. And this is very easy, and when I melt my butter, you'll see how clear it is. So clarified butter makes baklava much crispier. And that's basically it. We need to prepare a syrup for the very end stage, and that simple syrup, 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of water with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Bring it to a boil until it thickens somewhat, and then that's ready to go. The syrup has to be cooled, and when baklava comes out of the oven really hot, you have to combine them at that stage so you can hear it sizzling. That's the other trick to remember. My recipe calls for a pound of phyllo. Each phyllo sheet is placed in the pan. Into the pan. And I grease each new layer with melted butter. While you're placing layers of the phyllo into the pan, try to let it crumple like this. Don't try to make it go down flat, because these little wrinkles are going to keep the butter in between layers rather than let the butter run down to the very bottom. So that's a good thing. And if you rip the phyllo dough, that's no problem. Just use the little pieces that it rips into because it allows you to crumble them. See, this is a... After I process half of the phyllo dough, I make a layer of chopped nuts. Then I continue layering phyllo dough with layer of melted butter, and so on. To understand the history of the modern baklava, you have to understand what happened when the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople. They changed the name of the city to Istanbul, which still comes from Greek. Istanbul became Istanbul, and they repopulated the city with people from all over the Ottoman Empire. There were Turks and Greeks, Bulgarians, Germans, Armenians, Syrians, Egyptians. This was followed by a renewed interest in the arts and cuisine. The chefs in the Topkapi Palace were under a lot of pressure from the sultans to come up with tastier recipes. One of these recipes was the new and improved baklava. The chefs added butter and sugary walnuts and decreased the total amount of walnuts used. This sweet was quite a hit with the sultans. In fact, the chefs hosted something known as baklava halayı, which was a baklava parade through Istanbul. When I finished the layers of phyllo and butter, I cut the baklava into diamond-like portions. In Turkey, baklava came to mean diamond-like. When I place it in a 350-degree oven and bake for 1 to 1.5 hours, while that is baking, I will make the syrup. When the phyllo is baked to a golden brown, I remove it from the oven, and while it's still hot, I pour the syrup into the baking dish slowly. You will hear it sizzle. Then, when the baklava is thoroughly cooled, it is ready to be served. And here's our finished product with pistachios on top, and it's ready to be enjoyed. Afiyet olsun. Bon appetit in Turkish.